Greetings. Welcome to the lecture on basics of entrepreneurship. I am Dr. G. Shankara, Professor and Head of the Department, RR Institute of Technology, Bangalore. In this lecture, we will learn about some basic terms, concepts of entrepreneurship, the fundamentals or some essential topics about the entrepreneurship. So in this lecture we will cover the various definitions, evaluation of concept of entrepreneurship, functions of an entrepreneur, concepts of entrepreneurship, stages in entrepreneurial process, role of entrepreneur in economic development, barriers to entrepreneurship, advantages and disadvantages of entrepreneurship or being an entrepreneur, different sources of finance for entrepreneur, central and state level financial institutions supporting the entrepreneur. These topics we will cover briefly in this lecture because particularly these are very helpful to the aspiring entrepreneurs from all walks of life. Definitions. Entrepreneurship may be defined as a systematic innovation which consists of the purposeful and organized search for changes and a systematic analysis of the opportunities that such change might offer for economic and social transformation. So it is an innovative activity. It looks for changes and the opportunities that change brings, and how to convert that opportunity into a economic and social transformation and wealth generation. So that is a basic concept of entrepreneurship. It is a business opportunity basically, may be described as an attractive economic idea which could be implemented to create a business enterprise to earn profits and ensure further growth. So this is a basic business economic opportunity. What are some examples of entrepreneurship? In every field of life there are entrepreneurship. You can see computers, mobile phones, washing machines, ATMs, credit cards, courier services, ready to eat foods. All these are all entrepreneurial ideas that got converted into products or services. So entrepreneurship is about a new idea about a new manufacturing product or a new service providing concept. Entrepreneurship is the freedom to do what one likes to do with all its attendant profits and risks. So it involves profits as well as risks. So entrepreneurship is freedom which can be pursued by an individual or a group, but there is risk involved with that. Entrepreneurship is defined by results and not by attributes. It is a passion and all about commercial risks. Entrepreneur is a person who starts an enterprise and converts a situation into opportunity. He searches for change and responds to the changes. Joseph Scumter defined entrepreneurs are innovators who use the process of entrepreneurship to shatter the status quo of the existing products and services. So he is not happy with the existing products and services. He says there is some deficiency in either it can be quality or it can be the utility provided by that product or service. So you want to improve it, you want to upgrade it. So to set a new products, new services. He describes entrepreneurs as innovators. Then, so this is about the entrepreneurship. Then who is the entrepreneur? Entrepreneur is a person who bears the risk, unites various factors of production, and carries out creative innovations. The production or service requires various set of operations. So entrepreneur coordinates and organizes all these activities into a fruitful business and activity. He is an individual or one of a group of individuals who try to create something new. He or she always attempts to bring about change in terms of factor proportions, which is known as innovation. So basically, who does the entrepreneurship is called an entrepreneur. Then, what is an enterprise? So, the outcome of entrepreneurship by an entrepreneur is enterprise. Enterprise is the business organization that is formed and which provides goods and services, which creates jobs, which contributes to national income, exports, and contributes to the overall economic development. So, it is a firm, it is a company, it is an organization, it is an institution, is called an enterprise. Entrepreneur is a person who starts the enterprise. So, enterprise is being started by the entrepreneur. The process of creation is called entrepreneurship. Creation of an enterprise is called entrepreneurship. Entrepreneur is the actor. Entrepreneurship is the act. The outcome of the actor and the act is called the enterprise. Let us see how this concept of entrepreneurship evolved. Since time immemorial, the entrepreneurship activities are there on this planet. You see the invention of fire, invention of metals, invention of agriculture. Like this, there are so many entrepreneurship activities are there which help in the progress of the mankind. But as a concept of entrepreneurship, it has developed recently. Let us see. The word entrepreneur is derived from the French word entreprendre, which means to undertake. That is, individuals who undertake the risk of new enterprise is called entrepreneur. The word entrepreneur therefore first appeared in the French language in the beginning of the 16th century. So as a term it is coined in the 16th century in the French language. But the activity of entrepreneurship is there since very, very long ago. The word was coined by Richard Cantillon, an Irishman living in France. In the earliest period, definition of entrepreneurship began as early as the Marco Polo, who comes to the Middle East for trade. So he is not happy with the trade setup, the available goods in his country or in the Europe at that time. So he want to bring new goods, etc. to the country. So he was called one of the earliest entrepreneurs, Marco Polo. Marco Polo has signed an agreement with the capitalist to sell their products. Capitalist was the passive risk bearer. So capitalist provided the funding required and the other entrepreneurship activities carried by the Marco Polo. When the merchant adventurer successfully sold the goods, completed the trip, the profits are divided with the capitalist. So this concept is nowadays also it is there. Some people will provide the capital, the money required, finance, etc. Some people will carry out the execution of the idea, who are called the entrepreneurs. And the profits will be shared by both the funding partner as well as the entrepreneur. In Middle Ages, entrepreneur is described as someone who is involved in the care and control of large production projects such as public buildings and churches. So a typical entrepreneur in the Middle Ages was a priest. Priests were called as because they are involved in so many projects, social projects of that time, schools, construction of hospitals, or government-related churches, government-related projects, etc. In 17th century, evolution of entrepreneurship can be related with the relationship between the risk and entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurship is the person who signed the contract agreement with the government to provide a service or supply products. They buy things at a certain price and sell it at a price that is uncertain with the risk. So basically, entrepreneurs, whatever is required for the is the raw materials, the land, the other utilities like power, water, buildings, all these things require machinery, equipment, plant, then marketing, everything he pays some known price. Finally, his product or his service he sells at an uncertain price, which can be profitable, sometimes which can be loss. That is the risk uncertainty. So he is called as an entrepreneur. 18th century, the person with capital was differentiated from the one who needed capital. Entrepreneur was distinguished from the capital provider. One reason for this differentiation was the industrialization occurring throughout the world. Earlier also this was there, but sometimes the capitalists and entrepreneurs were mixed, used for the same term, but in 18th century they were distinctly separated. In 19th and 20th century, entrepreneurs are not always associated with the management of the enterprise. He is considered as an innovator. He organizes, manages and assumes the risk of a business or an enterprise for a personal gain. Now if you see the middle of 20th century and 21st century, the concept of entrepreneurship changed. Now it has entered into the all walks of life. He is known as a hero for free enterprise market. Most people say entrepreneurs are pioneers in creating new businesses. They are regarded entrepreneur as an organizer who controls, systematize, purchases raw materials, arranges infrastructure, all those things. And future can be still, it can be a different, because now the things are more technology oriented. So the modern technologies and internet have improved the ways of conduct business, and competition also simultaneously is increased. Entrepreneurs now have the luxury of putting their business idea into action through the click of button. So the concept of entrepreneurship is continuously undergoing change. So basically, what is the concept? Entrepreneur is the person or the actor. Entrepreneurship is the act or process or action, and the result or the outcome of this activity is the enterprise, a firm, a company, organization, a business unit. So that is the basic concept of entrepreneurship. Okay, now we understood what is meant by entrepreneurship. Who is an entrepreneur? Okay, basic definition we understood, but what is exactly his roles and responsibility? His functions to be called as an entrepreneur, or to be a successful entrepreneur, what an entrepreneur should do. So he has several functions. See, most of these concepts are taken from the CBSE textbooks on entrepreneurship. You can find out more detailed explanations in that books. Entrepreneurial functions he has to do, basically 4 types of functions: entrepreneurial functions, promotional functions, managerial functions, commercial functions. So entrepreneurial functions means innovation, risk taking, organization, building. So these are all called entrepreneurial functions, which are an essential or a integral part of the entrepreneur, a basic functions. Then promotional functions, investigation of an idea. So getting an idea is an innovative idea, is a entrepreneurial function, but as a promotional function you have to investigate that idea, whether that idea is a feasible, viable, etc. Detailed investigation should be carried out. Assembling the requirements and financing this entrepreneurial proposition. So these are all called promotional function, promotion of the concept of entrepreneur. So these are called promotional functions. Now next is managerial functions. So once the idea seems to be successful, the enterprise is formed in a broad sense, then a managerial functions has to see that the concept becomes a reality. So what are all the managerial functions? Planning of the business, organizing of the various resources, staffing the human resources, directing and controlling all the activities of the organization, leadership, communication, motivation, coordination, etc. All these should be done as a part of managerial functions so that the organization, the enterprise starts functioning as well as progresses efficiently towards its goal of profit making. So these are all the managerial functions also shall be carried out by the entrepreneur. Then commercial functions. Now the either product or service is launched. Then comes the commercial function, production, then marketing of the product or service, then personal function means networking, the dealers, the distribution network, all those things. Accounting, so whatever is the finances being managed, they should have an accounting procedures, and finance to providing the required fixed assets, required working capital, required money for the future growth. All these things comes under the finance functions. So an entrepreneur has to deal with so many issues and he has to don so many roles, he has to wear so many caps. So these are all described here. Innovation, risk taking, organization building are the functions of a entrepreneurial functions. Then promotional functions, discovery of idea, all these things we have seen. Directing, you can go through the definitions and activities here. Okay, and commercial functions. So many activities he has to perform. Okay, now we have seen what are all the entrepreneurial functions. Then what is the various steps involved from concept to commissioning in the entrepreneurial process? What are all, because we have seen it is a process, it is an action. So what are all the series of steps one has to undertake to make it into a reality? They are self discovery. First, entrepreneur should discover about, he should learn about himself, whether he has the entrepreneur qualities or not, whether he enjoys this activity. It is basically a challenging and risk taking. So he is that characteristics. Examining their strength and weakness, examining work experience and relating it to potential opportunities. Analysis. All these things, these capabilities whether he is having. Okay, if he feels he can take up the entrepreneurship profession, he is fit for that, it is very interesting to him, it is exciting to him, then he should look for the identifying the opportunities. How you can identify the opportunity? You should look for the needs of the society. You should find out the wants. You should find out the trends. You should find out the likes and dislikes. All problems faced by the country, by the society, and challenges that are not yet addressed or dealt effectively. So then these are all the identifying opportunities. Once the opportunities are identified, then generating and evaluating ideas. So how to deal with this demand and basically you should find out a demand and supply gap either in the product or service in the society. So once he finds out that, then comes a solution for that, an idea to deal with the situation, idea to remove that pain point in the solution in the society. So society may be wanting something which is not available. They are not happy with the available. So it is pinching them. So how to remove that pain point? What are all the solutions? Analyzing various solutions, ideas. Then after that, okay, finalize one solution, one concept, one idea which you want to pursue. Then comes the planning, researching and identifying resources. Then once that, what are all the various resources like material, raw material, land, technology, equipment, plant, human resources, their skills, where is the finance, where is the market, transportation network, communication network, storage network, all these things should be planned and identified. Strategies for various. Then raising the startup capital. So the idea, definitely everything requires money. So from where we should finance this project, this idea, this business, whether it is internal, he is having enough money to proceed with the idea. If not, from where he can get the money externally? Is it from friends? Is it from public? Is it from government? Is it from other financial institutions like that? Once the capital is identified and confirmed, the source, then startup. We should launch the venture, developing a customer base, adjusting marketing and operational plans. So that comes the startup function, operation or step. Once the startup is done and once the gestation period, it takes everything. Initial investment will be more, the returns will be less initially. Slowly the returns, profits will increase, and once they cross the expenditure, it is called a break-even point. So all this takes some time, that is called gestation period. Once the gestation period is done, next stage is growth. How to expand the business, increase its capacity, increase its potential, increase the profits further, large scale operations, all this comes under the growth. And some extra step is harvesting. Some entrepreneurs, once the business takes off and ready to expand, then they will sell that business to somebody and take the money and start new business again from the beginning. So that is called harvesting. It is not always mandatory. Some people will continue with the same business. So these are all the various steps or series of actions in the entrepreneurial process. Okay, is it entrepreneurship is an individual? Is it profitable to only an individual, or is it useful to the society? Is it useful to the country, nation? Let us see. It is not only useful to any individual, entrepreneurship is as well as required for the growth of any nation. Why? Because if you see, it is the lifeline of a nation. No country can progress without the development of entrepreneurship, because people's needs and wants keeps on changes with the time. So to cater to those needs and demands, new innovative goods and services are required. So if the country is not able to meet that changes, then they have to export that from the other countries, which is very expensive. They have to depend on other countries. So to meet that, a country should be self-reliant in their action. So that is done by basically the entrepreneurs. So they are the lifeline of a nation. They provides innovation. Through this, all this action, so they provides innovation. They make the, as you told, so many steps are there. So they start the business, they manufacture the products or services, they do the commercial activities of selling, marketing and all those things. They generate revenue and profits to the company. So all these provide a lot of employment. They export the goods to the other countries also. All these things provide a lot of opportunities, employment opportunities to the population. Then they bring the change of growth and also inclusive growth. As I told you, with the time, people's education, people's economic needs, people social status, people facilities keeps on changes. So that growth, change of growth, and also inclusive all the types of population, weaker sections of the population, female population, all these things should be included in the growth. So that can be done by the entrepreneur. Increased profits, he can generate a increase profits by increasing his action, by exporting to the various countries, etc. Social benefits, not only beneficial to business enterprise but to the society at large. It raises the standard of living by providing good quality products and services. For example, you see, with the increase in the communication technology, it started with the landlines, then mobiles, pagers, then comes the mobiles, keyboard mobiles, now smartphones, then you have 2G, you have 3G, you have 4G. So these are all providing a standard of high living to the society. So these are all brought out by the entrepreneurs. So entrepreneurship is an essential for economic and social progress of any society. So this is all described in the figure below. Then what are the barriers to entrepreneurship? Okay, sir, this is the functions, this is the process you told. Then you tell it is very important function, but is it so cakewalk, or are there, what are the problems we should come across during the entrepreneurship? So we want to know that once you know how to handle the barriers or hurdles or problems faced, then we can learn from them and face them in our entrepreneurship. Let us see what are the barriers. So these barriers can be environmental barriers and personal barriers. Environmental barriers are economic, social, cultural and political factors. These are all environmental, external and internal environment of a country and in the general society also sometimes can become a barrier, prevent the progress of the entrepreneurship. Similarly, a personal, individual, his family, these things also can become a hurdle to the entrepreneurship. What is economic? So the factors required for economic development also, entrepreneurship requires land, labor, capital, material, markets, etc. So if the country or society is not able to provide these things at an affordable rate to the and at an encouraging way to the entrepreneurship cannot progress. There should be land should be provided at a reasonable rate. Labor laws should be supportive of the entrepreneur, like that. Then sociological factors such as caste structure, mobility of labor, customer needs, cultural heritage, respect for senior citizens, values, individual society values, etc. also have far-reaching impact. If labor is not able to move freely from one location to another location within the country because of the rules regulated by the various state governments, if labor is not able to move, then entrepreneurship will suffer. Similarly, the other social factors. Then cultural factors. Every society has its own cultural values, beliefs and norms. If the culture of a society is conducive to creativity, risk-taking and adventurous spirit, such a cultural milieu, entrepreneurship will get encouragement. So basically, if the culture of the society is a risk-taking towards a free enterprise, towards supports the creativity, innovation, etc., then entrepreneurship will flourish. Otherwise, societies which are closed, which are skeptical to the innovations, which discourages innovations, creativity, risk taking, entrepreneurship will not flourish there. Then political environment should be conducive. It should be a stable government. It should be a decisive government. It should address the problems of the entrepreneurship readily. So such a political environment is helpful for the growth of entrepreneurship. Otherwise, people will not be interested in investing in the new enterprises or business ideas. Then what are all the personal? Is it all individuals can proceed with the entrepreneurship? Can everybody get success in as an entrepreneur? No. It's personal beliefs, personal values, personal ideas, personal culture, family culture, background. These also plays. Motivational. You should be at every stage in entrepreneurship. You will come across so many problems. So you should be able to motivate yourself. Self motivation plays. You shall not be get discouraged, should not be get depressed by the hurdles, and self motivation plays a very important role. So if you are a person who have a self esteem and motivation, then entrepreneurship is a choice for you. Perceptual changes also means forming opinions, forming judgments, forming impressions. All these things also hamper the progress. Lack of clear vision, not able to think properly, with a biased views, analyze everything. Misunderstanding of the situations can result in a faulty perception. So it is detrimental to the individual as an entrepreneur. Okay, so for example, some people say no, this type of business is not suitable for ladies. This type is not more suitable for ladies. Such gender bias, such a racial bias, such a caste bias. All these things are perceptual factors which can hamper the progress of a entrepreneurship. So to become a successful entrepreneur, these hurdles, these problems, these risks, these barriers should be overcome. Okay, then what are all the advantages and disadvantages? So we saw so many problems are there. We saw that he has to function so many duties he has to perform. Okay, at the end, what are all the advantages to pursue an entrepreneurship career or to entrepreneurship activity, and what are all the disadvantages one has to face? Advantages is just like everything in life, entrepreneurship also has both sides of the coin, advantages and benefits and discomforts. Advantages, it is an excitement activity. So who want challenge and risk, they can feel excited in the entrepreneurship. Originality, any people who loves to be creative, innovative, so his original ideas he can practice. Whereas if you are an entrepreneur, you are working in a job, you may not able to do, you have to follow the ideas or the actions dictated by your superiors. Rational salary, if the entrepreneur makes a good success, you will get a good reasonable salary. Freedom, there is a freedom of execution of your work, freedom of selecting a idea, a workplace freedom, time freedom, all these things you can have. But what are all the disadvantages? Salary, if in the beginning, particularly till the gestation period is over, the break even point comes, the salary will be a difficult situation. You may not get the salary what you are looking at. Benefits, similarly in a big organizations you will get other perks along with your pay, other social security benefits like pension, like insurance, like health insurance, all these things, some canteen facilities, food facilities, accommodation, all these things. Whereas in a small startup may not able to provide all these facilities till it reaches a successful venture. Work schedule, even though it is a freedom is there, but till it moves beyond the break-even point, they may have to work even at odd hours and on Sundays, etc. Administration. So here administrative support is means the entrepreneur is basically responsible for his all the decisions, so he may not get much support from the other people. Incompetent staff. So your idea is new and the skill set required may be also sometimes new, and the available human resources in that locality or in that region are not sufficiently competent for that, then it will be a problem. So these are all the various disadvantages being faced by an entrepreneur. So they are shown in the sketches below. Okay, so next is the fundamental. So entrepreneurship, two basic things. One is supply and demand, as I told you, supply and demand of the product or service. That should be first analyzed, that should be identified, that should be investigated. So what is the product, what is service which is the society is not happy with, so you should identify. That comes under the market plan. Then comes the, once that is decided, what is the idea is to be pursued, next comes the finance. So what are all the various financial sources for an entrepreneur? They can be, business finance may be defined as the acquisition and utilization of capital funds in meeting the financial needs and overall objectives. What are the financial needs? It can be day-to-day operations, to launch the operations, modernization of activities, to expand the business, to diversify the business, for research and development activities. Every step you require money, so it is the lifeblood of enterprise. Okay, then what are all the sources? Sources can be internal as well as external. Let us see what is the internal. Internal funds. The type of funds most frequently employed is internally generated funds. So first of all, everybody should depend on the internal funds coming from several internal sources. For example, ownership financing, equity based financing ownership. Equity refers to the capital invested in the enterprise by its owners. Equity participation can be, so what are all the money put by the owners in the company is called as equity. It can be, where equity can come from the bluffing the bag of profits. Whatever profits generated in the business, you again reinvest into the business, it becomes the equity. Equity shares also comes under the equity. Preference shares, these are another type of shares. Seed capital, what is the capital invested initially in the company, is the seed capital. These can be the sources of internal funding. Personal savings, whatever you have saved either from your family or from your employment, from whatever it may your previous career, all those things you saved, that can comes under internal source. Friends and relatives, so if you are taking money from your friends, family and relatives, is considered as internal source. Chit funds, deposit from dealers. So if you are able to convince the dealers that the product or service can be make a wonderful, create a revenue, then dealers can ready to invest in the beginning before taking the advance, that is called advance bookings. You can make and get the money from the dealers. So these are all comes under the internal funds. Then what are all the external funds? The other general sources of funds is external to the venture. This is money from outside the firm's own resources, not from outside, which are money collected from the outside the resources, own resources. Mostly the debt financing is all referred as external source of raising. Equity financing we saw as an internal source. Debt financing is generally considered as external source. So it can be from public in the form of debentures, public deposits, etc. It can be venture capital from any angel investors and venture capitalist. A capitalist or who are having a rich, affluent people who have money and who want to invest in a prospective firm. They are called as angel investors and venture capitalists. Then loans from banks like overdraft, using overdraft, cash credit, discounting of bills, factoring, loans and advances, term loan, demand loan. All these are all the various instruments, facilities provided to the entrepreneurs by the banks. What is discounting of bills? Means if you have supplied your product to the dealer may not give you money immediately. He says, sir, once I sell this product, from the proceedings I received, from the receivables I will pay you the money. But till then, how you will continue your operations? Again, you have to buy the raw material, you have to pay salaries, you have to pay current bill. Your production should be in continuity. So you have to incur daily expenditure. From where you will get money? So the dealer will give you a invoice of the tax invoice, whatever he has received. So that you can produce in the bank as a surety and take money from the bank, and once you get the money from the dealer, you can repay it to the bank. These are called discounting of bills or called factoring services. Banks provide these services to the business people. Loan from financial institutions like other financial institutions, private, non-banking financial institutions, there are private lenders are there. Then government, to encourage the entrepreneurship and business in the country, it has instituted some specialized financial institutions. They cater to the needs of the entrepreneurs and business people. So money can be taken from them, and grants for certain type of activities like research in certain fields like medicine, science and technology, etc. Government give grants to the entrepreneurs. So these are all the various external sources of financing that is can be availed by the entrepreneurs in their entrepreneurship. Let us see what are all the various central and state level financial institutions. It can be commercial banks which provide the loans or other facilities told above. It can be rural banks which cater to the entrepreneurship activity in the rural and district level. They provide the financing and other consultancy services. Then specialized financial institutions which basically caters to the needs of the entrepreneurs and business people. These called SFI, Specialized Financial Institute. They work as a mentor and technical advisor to a wide range of upcoming and existing entrepreneurs, and also provide financial help. What are all the SFIs? There are some only listed here, but there are many more SFIs in the country. Many countries support these through various specialized financial institutions. In India, we have at the national level IDBI, Industrial Development Bank of India, then Small Industrial Development Bank of India, IDBI, Industrial Finance Corporation of India, IFCI, Industrial Credit and Invest Corporation of India, ICICI, National Bank of Agriculture and Rural Development, NABARD, which caters to the agricultural activity and as well as the entrepreneurship and industries related to the agriculture can use the services of NABARD. Industrial Investment Bank of India. Then at the state level also, every state government, to encourage the entrepreneurship in their own state, they have formed some state level and district level organizations. They are state financial corporations. These are at the headquarters, generally at the state capital, and regional offices, then at various prominent places. then branch offices at almost at all the district level to help the people at various all regions across the state. Tourism Finance Corporation of India, State Industrial Development Corporation SADC. So like that there are various other financial specialized institutions for the development of the entrepreneurship, which is considered as a lifeline of any nation. So most of the material is taken from CBSE books on entrepreneurship. They cover a vast subject. So in this lecture we have studied the various basic, fundamental, essential concepts required for an entrepreneur. Thank you.